Hi, third grade. This is Mrs. Dee Dee today. I'm going to teach you a little bit more about figurative language. Now, you've used a lot of figurative language this week, and I am going to teach you about similes and metaphors. And what the difference is between a simile and what a difference is between a metaphor. And then you're going to have a chance to be able to write a poem with similes and a poem with metaphors. So, figurative language is when you are comparing something to something else. So let's look at this, for example. Have you ever heard you're a weasel? Does it mean you're really a weasel? Or does it mean you're sneaky? Or you might be a liar, okay? Let's look at this. Have you heard someone say this before? He's as wise as an owl. I think you're all wise as an owl. Or have you heard she's a chicken? Now, someone really isn't a chicken, but what does that mean if someone says you're a chicken? Right? You might think you might be a little afraid. Or how about this one? What a couch potato. That doesn't mean you're really a potato. It means that you're sitting on the couch a lot, right? And can you think of one for this picture of a lion? As brave as a lion. Have you ever heard those before? Well, those are similes and metaphors. There are lots of different types of figurative language, and we've learned about them this week. So similes is something like eat like a pig. And metaphors are something you are an angel. So notice that the word similes use the word like or as. And metaphors do not use like or as, but they're comparing you to something else. So let's look at it a little bit closer. Similes compare two things using words like and as. So if you see like or as, it's almost always a simile if you are comparing something. Sometimes they can make sense, and sometimes they can be really tricky. So let's look at some. I have been working like a dog. Now, do you really work like a dog? Or do you know how hard a dog works and you think that you work that hard? Okay? Or as white as snow. Right? Her shirt was as white as snow. So we're using this word as. Okay? Fight like cats and dogs. Or as light as a feather. These are all similes. And free as a bird. Okay? So similes are pretty easy to remember and to use in your writing because it uses the word like and as. Metaphors compare two things by saying one thing is like another thing. Metaphors do not use like or as. So let's look at some examples. The cat is the cat is a shadow. So what does that mean? What if the cat is a shadow? It means maybe a cat is a little tricky. Okay, the wind was a howling wolf. Is the wind really a howling wolf? No, it's just figurative language. It's like the wind was like as loud as a wolf. How about the highway was a parking lot? Right? The highway really isn't a parking lot. There's lots of cars moving. But when it's a parking lot, it might be there's lots of cars and there's so many cars that they can't move. Or maybe there's a car accident or something. But the highway is not a parking lot. It's where we drive. It's a metaphor. My teacher is a dragon. You might have a brave teacher, but I don't think she's a dragon. Okay, those are examples. So now, we are going to do a little guessing. So you're going to guess is it a simile or a metaphor? Okay? All the world's a stage. The world is a stage. Is that a metaphor or a simile? Well, think about it for a second. And if you said metaphor, you're right. Metaphor. There's no word like or as in that phrase. Okay? Here we go. The test was as difficult as nailing jelly to a tree. Is it a simile or a metaphor? If you said simile, you were correct. Here's this tricky word. As. Those are key words to let us know that it is a simile. Okay, let's keep going. Is this a simile? Can you think of one that we say with this picture? Is it a simile or a metaphor? The best friends are like two peas in a pod. What do you think it is? Shout it out. If you shouted simile, you are right. Like is the key word here, right? Friends are like two peas in a pod. They're not really peas. They're just like how cute they are in a pod, right? They're just cute together. They like to stick together, but they're not really peas. So it's figurative language. Okay, how about this one? Is it a simile or a metaphor? Ben's temper was a volcano. Are there any key words? That's right. Shout it out. It's a metaphor. Good job. You got metaphor. Metaphors do not have like or as and is still comparing Ben's temper to a volcano. So it is a metaphor. Okay. So now you are going to be able to create, you can do it with your parents or somebody in your house, or you can do it by yourself, but you're going to be able to create a simile yourself of something that is fast today. Okay, and we'll read a book a little bit later about that. But remember that similes use words like or as, and metaphors do not. Okay, and you're going to be able to create a metaphor today in your poems. Okay, you can use a partner or you can do it yourself, whatever works good at home for you. Metaphors do not use like or as, so be really careful. Don't use those words when you're writing your metaphor poems, okay? All right, third grade, it looks like we are finished with our lesson, and I hope that you learn more about similes and metaphors, and you will be able to show us in your writing. Have a great weekend. See you. Bye.